Coach, when you have a team like Golden State that just continuously moves without the basketball, just how much of this, or what kind of lessons can you take from playing that kind of offense to where they just keep on moving?
Well, that's what they've done for years, and it starts with Steph Curry, and they're hard to guard, and when really they make you communicate on a unique level, and they're hard enough to guard as it is, but we had some breakdowns. They put a lot of pressure on you in that sense, whether it's getting caught with a back screen, giving some things up, not switching a tight curl. But as much as anything, I thought the way we came out in the third quarter was a positive tonight. We hurt ourselves in the first half, turning the ball over. And then when you don't see the ball go in the basket for a significant period of time, we had a number of guys that I thought had some good shots and they didn't go. And to be able to, it's tough you have to stay locked in spite of that. And that's hard to do. It's easier said than done. And I thought the first half we became discouraged at times, not seeing the ball go in, turning it over, and it knocked us back. And there were a couple big runs so that when you do start playing better, we really never quite were able to get the ball to go in. But you're going to have nights like that, and you try to do other things. But, I thought coming out of halftime, we came out in the third quarter and we didn't feel sorry for ourselves. We'd missed free throws, we turned it over, we missed threes, but we came out and competed, and I was happy to see that.
Just following up on those turnovers, do you think part of that is just with all the new pieces that are coming back, especially this week, could that be just some of the rhythm being off with the new players?
I think more than anything, we have to space. And when we play in small spaces, when there's four guys on one side of the floor, you're not able to make plays for each other. And so that it just we have to be that determined there are little things that require more concentration and just a little more effort. And again, communicating with each other on that. I didn't think that we talked enough tonight. And sometimes that happens when you're not making shots, and it's actually when you need each other even more. But regardless of who's in the game, how long they played, we can run. You can run, and you can see that there's a corner that's empty, and you can fill it. And you can see where the ball is, and you can space. And, doing that gives us a chance to get connected. So regardless of who's in or out of the game or who's played or who's been injured or whatever the case may be, those are things we have to do no matter what. It can't be, and if we miss it on one possession, we got to do it the next possession. When we're playing well, that's what's happening, and we're able to find each other because we are an unselfish team.
Coach, shortly when Trey came back after that Boston game, I asked him about the Achilles injury. Do you think that that's something that kind of lingers and might affect some of that shooting, especially with how defenses are attacking him?
Yeah, I don't want to overthink our shooting in general. We've missed some shots. That's the NBA. You go through stretches and you go through a stretch where they go in, and I've seen Trey shoot the ball in practice, and he's stroking it, and it's just it'll bounce through in the game. And it's frankly the same thing for Bogey. Hunt shot it great. He had a tough night tonight, but that we can't just rely on that when the ball's not going in. We have to continue to do other things. And in the second half we did that, and we had a few even at the rim that didn't go in. So not being discouraged and staying connected through those times is hard, but that's what good teams are able to do.
Is that sort of a sign of this team needing to grow up a little bit more? We talked about how young they are with so many guys.
Yeah, I'm always careful to dramatize some of those things, frankly. Every team, we're 19, 20, 21 across, the front line, so to speak, and those guys are young, but we don't get to press pause, and then everybody gets older. We've got to, keep growing. And, as I said, some of the things that we need to do, you can do no matter how old you are. you can run and you can space, and you know, when the ball's not going in, sometimes that becomes your focus. And you know, to become a good team, there's a maturity that has to occur, and that, you know, regardless of how old we are, that's what we're trying to do. But I've said it from the beginning. There's a process to that happening, and you know, we didn't handle pressure well against Portland, and we came in against Sacramento. We had a really good defensive game. Today we struggled in the first half, but we were able to lock in on some things and play better in the third quarter. And now we got to go to Chicago and be ready to play. Good. Okay.
Hi, Steve. We obviously just heard the news on DeAnthony reaction and just sort of how it impacts him, how it impacts the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously terrible news. I feel so bad for DeAnthony. He's such a perfect fit for us, and we were so excited to have him, and he was clearly going to be our starter next to Steph. The good news is he's a young guy, and you know, the surgery is pretty routine these days, and so he should be able to come back and resume his career really well. But I feel awful for him and bad for us too.
One of the reasons that he fit so perfectly is that he's one of your two-way players. You have others, but how much does his loss put the onus on guys like Wiggins, Pods, those guys who play both ends of the floor?
Yeah, I mean, you want to stack up as many two-way guys as you can in this league, and they're not easy to find. So fortunately, we do have a deep team, and guys will be ready to step up, and we've just got to keep looking at different combinations and put the best ones on the floor.
Steve, you kind of projected Melt to be your starting next to Steph pretty early as a possibility. But now with him out, have you decided that who else will fill that, or will it be sort of a by committee thing for now?
I liked Lindy in the starting lineup the other night. I think he started the last few. Anyway, he'll start tonight again, and Lindy's a very good player, really good two-way player, and he fills that role well. So we'll keep starting him and see how it goes.
How would you sort of characterize DeAnthony's demeanor upon hearing this, given that the season had started pretty well for him? And I'm also curious how much you can counsel him. I mean, it's a long time ago, but you obviously went through this in college.
Yeah, I've talked to him about it, about my experience. I've talked to him about his free agency coming up. You know, I talked to his agent the other night in L.A. So there's been plenty of conversation behind the scenes. He's disappointed, but he knows this is the right decision. I mean, he told me he really spent the last few days, you know, trying to wrap his head around it and think about what makes the most sense. And this is the right decision. You know, it's can't mess around with a partially torn ACL and think that, you know, everything's going to be fine if he just plays through it. This is the right decision, and we're all very confident that you know, he'll be back.
How much of the decision with Lindy, however long it lasts, is to keep Brandon with the second unit, maybe running the second unit, keep his energy focused on that unit more than try to blend him maybe with the starting and second unit?
Yeah, I think BP is another good option, and he might end up there depending on how things go. But I like Lindy's shooting off ball, you know, to go with that first group. Obviously, we're playing two bigs with Draymond and Trace, so you want as much shooting as possible. And he's really good guarding the ball. He just makes a lot of sense, but BP could fit in that role well too.
Maybe this is something. Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. The disabled veterans exception.
The
disabled veterans exception. Maybe I'm going too quick on that.
Yeah.
Is that something you expect to use?
It's a question for Mike. I literally have not even had that discussion with him. Yeah.
Better a post-game question, but I wasn't there. Like at least three or last 4 or 5 possessions, the ones where Powell was open at the top, there was overhelp. Is that part of the defense scheme, or was it just overhelp and it was a mistake?
Great passes from Harden. You know, you have to bring help too hardened on those drives. We brought help. On the help, we sank back to protect against the strong side or weak side passes, and they set it up nicely where Powell pulled behind the play. And there's not a lot of guys who can make that pass routinely. Luka can, LeBron, James. They're great players for a reason, and if you don't rotate behind, or if you do rotate behind the play, then there's going to be an opening that's actually an easier pass. And so they made several great plays.
Coach, just wanted to get your thoughts on Dyson Daniels and his emergence as a defensive player, what you see about him and how your team needs to kind of just go about it on offense.
Can't mess around with the ball around him. It's really impressive to see his growth and see how good he's become defensively, but he also looks more comfortable offensively and really coming into his own. So it's I always enjoy seeing young players really develop and grow and take a leap, and it sure seems like he's doing that.
Any update on Peyton and Anderson? I think they're both questionable on the injury report.
Yeah, they both just went through our walkthrough, and they'll go warm up on the court, so we'll see.
And maybe you were asked this the other night, but that last sequence with Gary to knock the ball loose, it's just amazing to me how often he deflects balls.
Yeah.
Curious what allows him to be so effective defensively on the ball, and then your thoughts on him taking that shot at the end.
Yeah, long arms, incredible athleticism, quickness, quick hands. He does that frequently. And I loved the last shot of the game. Steph did the right thing. They sent three guys at him, and he found the open guy, and Gary let it fly with confidence, and that's what I want from any one of our guys. So great shot. It just didn't go in, but he shot it confidently and right on the back rim. Sometimes they go, sometimes they don't, but I don't want any of our players, thinking about making or missing. I just want them firing with confidence, which he did, and you live with that.
Intending to pass to Lindy?
I think the pass was to Lindy, but in the scramble, we didn't have perfect spacing. And, if you're Gary with the clock running down, you got to let that thing fly. So I was very happy with the sequence, and sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't.
Steve, you've had some exceptional free throw shooters here. Steph, obviously, Clay, Jordan. You shot it pretty well when you played. How hard is it for you to watch balls go off the rim and around and watch a team miss almost one of every three shots from the line? Yeah,
we've got to get better with that. It's frustrating, but kind of part of it. It's the game is very much psychological, especially from the line. So I'm confident guys will get better. It's really something they have to do on their own. We don't practice much, and when we do practice, we need to put the time into all kinds of other things. And so, we talk to our guys all the time about, get your shooting in pre-practice, post-practice. I took 100 every day when I played. I just felt like it was a great way to groove your shot, to build confidence. I urge our players to do the same. It can be a very meditative experience if you shoot 100 free throws or 50 free throws in a quiet gym, and it can help you build really good habits. So we urge our guys to do that, and we give them other resources as well. And it's just a matter of building rhythm and confidence, and I'm confident they'll do that.
Has Buddy been a consideration to start Buddy Hield? And what might Lindy give the starting unit that Buddy might not?
I love Buddy off the bench. He has an energy and a scoring that is perfectly suited for the bench. Lindy is a little more of a passer, ball mover, on-ball defender. So they each have their strengths, and I like the way we're doing it right now, the way it balances out the lineups. Thanks.